Hello and welcome to Baseplate Reviews. Seeing as we're in the Christmas spirit and everyone's happy and jolly, I thought this was the perfect time to bring things down a notch and take a look at some of the worst LEGO sets released in 2023. This is inspired partly by the absolute melts over at Collider who don't want people to write worst of the year lists. To be fair to Collider, they've actually been super consistent with this because they have an article from over 10 years ago basically saying the same thing. So I think it's pretty unfair of anyone to suggest that Collider are hypocrites whatsoever. Anyway, away from ripping on the likes of Collider, let's get back to this worst of the year list. And to be clear, this isn't just tearing the LEGO designers to pieces, this is mostly light-hearted, and a lot of the reason sets are not so good as others comes down to value, often due to LEGO's pricing strategy, or alternatively, just subject content that doesn't hit right. This is entirely my subjective opinion, and if you've picked up any of these sets and have enjoyed them and think they're great, then more power to you. For clarity, I haven't got any of these sets myself. I try not to get into the habit of buying sets I rather dislike. Let's start with a dishonourable mention, just because this set actually released at the back end of 2022 and has been sitting on shelves for 2023, kicking up a 40% off stench the whole way through. It is of course the $350 recommended retail price Black Panther bust 76215 Black Panther. Why oh why did they not just make this at the same scale as the other Marvel and Star Wars helmets? It could easily have been a success if they had done that, but they clearly overestimated the market for this oversized and, from what I can see, boring to build set. How ironic that the Black Panther is destined to become a white elephant. So, for our actual 2023 countdown to the bottom of the barrel, let's start with Technic Pin the Set and 10323 Pac-Man Arcade, where yes, you get the opportunity to make a non-working Pac-Man arcade machine facsimile using over 300 Technic pins. Lucky you, yay! I think they tried to go down the same route as they did with 2020's fantastic Nintendo Entertainment System set. But for the same price, this doesn't match up to that one in any way. Less innovative in terms of the build and less impressive movement when you use the crank than the NES's scrolling screen just make this a $270 fail for me. Must have been a fail with LEGO too, seeing all of the various discounts and deals they've had on it since release. Up next is LEGO failing to appreciate the non-universal appeal of the likes of Megan Rapinoe and deciding to produce and release 40634 Icons of Play. This is a $100 minifigure kit, I think? Maybe? It has 4 minifigures that are the actual likenesses of real female footballers, including the aforementioned Megan Rapinoe, plus a couple of goalkeeper figures, a referee, a manager, and then 7 other minifigures that are supposed to be supporters. There's also an exceptionally small playing area, a bench, a podium, and a stand. The stand has a crank for a movement feature that apparently doesn't work that well. Maybe there's a few more Rapinophiles out there than I know of. But this didn't seem to go down a storm, and for all LEGO's good intentions with their Play Unstoppable campaign, this maybe wasn't the stellar set that intentions deserved. This next one has to be here from a value point alone. That is, unless you enjoy paying $400 to make a big black box out of LEGO. I don't know, maybe that does it for you. In which case, 76252 Batcave Shadow Box could be a winner instead of the bomb I think it is. Now, to be clear, I'm a big fan of the Batman property, and if you told me LEGO were making another big adult-oriented set for it to add to the likes of some of the Batmobiles they've done, I might well have been interested. This, though, just ain't it. Based on the 1992 Batman Returns film, the minifigures are pretty good, I suppose, but you aren't paying $400 for a few nice minifigures. The Batmobile in the set is okay, but you can get basically the same one in this year's much cheaper 76224 Batmobile Batman vs the Joker chase, rather than forking out the big money for this. I suppose the cutout bat shape is pretty cool, and there's a handful of movement features that you'll use the once before displaying this. And there's the biggest problem. This is priced up as a premium display set, and it just doesn't display that well. A misdirected Batarang to the nether regions. Ouch. This next one was a toss-up between the overpriced City Set 60365 apartment building and the one I've gone for, but I'm plumping for 31141 Main Street from the Creator 3-in-1 theme, just because it's been such a down year for the 3-in-1 theme in my opinion. I normally love this theme and currently have 2022's Downtown Noodle Shop in my backlog to build, and generally think they have some fun builds plus normally offer great value. Instead this year we had some very middling sets and Main Street is $140, so it already becomes a substantial purchase. And whilst its price to parts ratio isn't bad, it doesn't feel like it's worth 2 and a bit times more than this year's best 3-in-1 set, the Cozy House, and it certainly isn't worth being 70% the price of the modular police station. The builds for this are just so thin that they're basically facades, and for my mind just don't match up to some of the looks of the previous 3-in-1 buildings, such as 2014's quality Bike Shop and Cafe, or 2019's A-Star 31097 Townhouse Pet Shop and Cafe. Now that's a quality set. Why didn't I buy more than one of those? So anyway, there's a few that I really didn't like this year, but as Christopher Lambert in Highlander would say, there can be only one. And the absolute worst LEGO set of 2023 for me has to be 76232 The Hoopty from the Marvel Superheroes theme, and this just combines a perfect trifecta of craptitude, with it being overpriced at $90, making it over 20 cents a piece, coming from a seemingly waning franchise of the MCU altogether, and also the worst received film from that franchise in the Marvels. Finally, it just isn't close to being a good LEGO set in its own right. Hey, it has 3 cat figures. I refuse to say and pretend they are whatever the Marvel says they are, and that's all I have to say that's positive about that. I think I could potentially have done an entire worst of list consisting just of Marvel sets. Hey Wolverine Claw giving us all the middle adamantium finger, but just how much fun is it to hammer the same thing over and over? Plus Disney need that licensing money, so do keep buying their overpriced sets. Please won't someone think of the little Bob Igers out there trying to make their tens of millions of dollars each year. Anyway, what did you all think? Have I missed the mark with these, or are you dreading opening your presents on Christmas Day in case your well-meaning family members have bought one of these for you? Let me know in the comments below, and if you've liked the video, it would be much appreciated if you leave a like and consider subscribing.